Are we back on? Can you see me? Debbie? If you could back on? Can you see me? Hi, everybody. This is Kristel. I think we're live now. I got logged off. I think I was logged in twice. I was trying to be way early, and I think I messed something up. So I think we're back on. I see a chat. If you're in here and you can see me, will you just say hello or something just so I know we're live? And I'm going to start in just like a couple minutes to give everybody a chance to get back on because I think I booted people off. Can you guys, well, I think when you're on your cell phone, you don't have the, okay, you guys can see me now. Hi Shay. Hi Debbie. Okay, but I don't know if when you're on your cell phone, if you have the option to chat on the chat box. So I think that's probably part of it. But for those who said you could see me, thank you. So I'm going to start in just a couple minutes or like a minute. Hi, Cheryl. Thank you guys for getting on. Okay, so I'm going to flip this really quickly. So BRB, and we'll get started in just a second. People got booted off, so they're getting back on, and I'm getting messages like I'm getting back on, so hang tight for 1 second. Okay, so one last mic check just to make sure that you guys can hear me before I get started, because I'm going to start right now. So if anybody who is able to chat, if you guys will just say that I'm back on, we're live, we're good to go. You can hear me. Anybody? All right, cool. So I'm going to get started. I just want to thank everybody who's here today, logging in with me, for coming. I was super nervous, like leading up to this. I've been like trying to log onto my computer for the last like hour just to make sure that I was here and I got it right, because I am terrible with computers. I have the worst luck. So for me to be doing this is just really out of my comfort zone. And it's kind of weird because I feel like I'm talking to myself. So it's really good that I have the chat room at least. So if you're here and you want to just chime in or say something, give me a high five if you like something. I would love to see that, just so I know that I'm not talking to myself. But before I get started, I just want to start with why I even came up with the idea to do this webinar. It's a tool that's been floating around in my industry a lot lately, and I had been wanting to do it for a long time. And it's funny because every time I would log on, like, and put my face in front of the thing, I'm like, okay, never mind. First of all, I don't want to see myself or hear myself, but no one wants to hear what I have to say. Nobody cares. But then the more that I do self-growth and read these books and listen to these audios, the more I have to practice what I preach. And a lot of what I want to share with you guys today has to do with having that positive talk and not talking to yourself negatively and believing in yourself. And so I figured, hey, if even just 2 people want to hear what I have to share with them, the things that have been changing my life and just motivating me and inspiring me to wake up every day and just be better, I want to pass that on to those 2 people even. So hopefully it's more than 2. I'm pretty positive you guys will be a little bit inspired by what I have to share, because it's not coming from myself. It's coming from books that I've read and audios that I've listened to and conferences that I've gone to. And I just wanted to share it. It's a new year. I'm doing new things. I'm pushing myself out of the box and trying to challenge myself. And it's no fun to do those things if the people around you aren't growing with you. And one of the things that I've learned a lot in my journey of self-development is surround yourself with people who you can reach up to and who are inspiring you to do better. So if I'm not helping inspire the people around me, then I got to find new friends. So I really just want to, be inspired by all of those around me, which I am. I'm inspired by many of you who are even here. I'm inspired by so many people. So just know that most of what I'm sharing today is not coming from me. I'm just the messenger. And I just appreciate your time for tuning in for just a little bit. I don't have a crazy amount of time that I want to take. I just wanted to try this and give it a try. And I'd like to make it a series. I'd like it to be where I can be interviewing somebody else on what inspired their journey to become an entrepreneur, or to, just do the things that they do that challenge them in their day-to-day lives. So if any of you guys want to share your story with me and we can partner up on one of these webinars, I would love to do that as well. So for those who may not know me, I posted this on my social media. It got posted on others, so I really don't know who all is here and tuning in. My name is Kristel David, and I live in Corona, California, and I'm married for almost 6 years now. I have 3 girls and 1 on the way, so I'm actually due in March, the beginning of March, so I'm hoping I have a new baby sometime next month. And a little bit about my background is I after high school went to college, studied organizational leadership and supervision, got pregnant in going into my senior year. So that kind of changed my course of my plan. My plan was to graduate, then probably go get a master's, get my own little apartment, do the whole single, college educated person life, and then get married, have kids and all that. But I kind of did it a little backwards. So I immediately became a stay-at-home mom out of college. And that was a huge blessing. Having my daughter was the best experience ever. I wouldn't trade it for anything, but I did for a long time feel trapped in I'm just a mom. And for those who know me personally, you know that I have an amazing mother. My mom is an amazing person. Just she's all about giving to other people. She's always been successful in her own career. I got to watch her not only be there for us every step of the way and teach us and love on us and give us a consistent foundation, but she was successful in her career. So for me as a woman and a mom, I always saw myself as in order to be the superwoman that I admire, like my mom, I got to be a businesswoman and a mom. And so just being a stay-at-home mom, which now I've been able to embrace, and it's not a just at all, it's a huge job. It is a full-time job. And I'm so grateful to be able to be a stay-at-home mom. But I always had that little yearning inside of me to explore business, to suit up and get dressed, and maybe not in a suit every day, but to just do something that was outside of just being a mom. And so probably a year or so after graduating, um, hi Shannon, hi guys. um, but after a year or so after graduating college and having my daughter, I started working for my husband's foundation and planning events for him. And so for a good like 5-6 years, I did just that. And it kept me really busy, and it gave me that outlet where I was able to make my own schedule, stay home with my daughter and then daughters as they came, but still have a piece of me that was, you know, something other than just a mom and just a wife, I guess. But when I got pregnant with my second daughter, it was when I realized like I was going a lot more than I really wanted to be, and I wasn't really creating my schedule because I was tied to these events. It was like, yes, I was home, but my mind was always like, okay, I got to do this and I got to do that, and ooh, what about this? And event planning, for anyone who does it, you know that it's a never-ending job. Your brain never shuts off. So anyways, I'm getting a little long-winded with my background, but I'm just kind of, today is all about sharing who I am with you guys and why I'm on this journey to want to inspire you. So just to kind of close out my background, I did that for some time, and I fell upon just pretty much retiring from doing event planning, and I was just kind of being a mom and enjoying that. And so that's kind of where I was. But what happened was things kind of changed for me, because one day I was at my sister-in-law's gym, and I was pregnant with my second daughter, and there was a company there where they scan your hands and they tell you how healthy or unhealthy you are based on your antioxidant levels. And don't be afraid, I'm not going to talk about Juice Plus this whole time. It is a big part of why I am the person that I am today, and so I have to give credit to this part of my life and my story. But it wasn't the Juice Plus company, but it was a company where they scan your hand. And I took this scan thinking, oh, I'm 24, I'm pregnant, I take prenatals, I'm going to blow this test out of the water. And so I took that test, and I actually scored terribly, like really, really bad, off the charts. One of my best friends was there with me, and she scored in the lower side as well, and so did pretty much 95%, if not more, of the room. And there was this one girl who was circling around, and everyone was like, that girl over there got really high scores. She scored really good. So I, being the competitor that I am, but also just the eager to learn and eager to always be better, I went up to her, I'm like, what do you eat? What do you drink? What are you doing? And she couldn't really pinpoint a specific lifestyle or diet that she had, but she said, I take Juice Plus, you know, and I'm like, well, what is it? She's like, I don't really know. My mom's had me on it. Call her, take it. So that was almost 5 years ago, and the rest has just been history when it comes to Juice Plus. And that's a whole nother webinar, a whole nother party or event or whatever. But because of being introduced to Juice Plus, what happened was I was faced in the mirror that day with, well, what the heck is health? Like, if I'm young and I'm only 24 years old, here I'm bearing children, and you know, I thought I ate pretty good. I mean, we ate, with every meal we had a vegetable, and sometimes it was canned corn or canned green beans, and sometimes it was really smushy broccoli with cheese all over it. But when I really was faced with it, I realized that health is a big component of our food, because what happened was, so 2 years went by, I was ordering the Juice Plus on Jason's credit card, so it was just auto shipping. I would take it here and there. I didn't take it faithfully. And I met a lady named Kathy at my older daughter's school. And so when I saw her, she had a Juice Plus table. So I just went up to her by association and I said, hey, I take this stuff. I love it. And that was when I learned that it was more than just the fruit and vegetable capsules. It was a shake that can be like, you know, replacing the meals that I was missing, because I was a busy mom on the go. I never had breakfast. I never ate breakfast. And in the Tower Garden, we had just moved into my house, and we have all concrete in our backyard, and I always wanted a garden in my home that I was going to live in, but there was no place for it. So when she said she had a garden that only took 10% of the water and of the space and the land, no dirt, which no dirt didn't even make sense to me. I was like, sign me up, give me all of it. So that's how I got introduced to the business side of Juice Plus. And again, I'm not going to go into it. I just have to set you up for how I got to becoming an eager entrepreneur to just be the best person I could be. And so she said, if you're gonna order all this stuff, just pay the, the membership fee. It's only $50. You'll order from yourself instead of me. So instead of me making the commission that the company is gonna pay, then you'll make it. So I'm like, okay, but I'm not a salesperson. I don't want to sell anything. Like, what is the catch? What's the quota? And she's like, there is none. I know, it's too good to be true. So I signed up, and the rest was history. That was back in 2000. I think it was 13. So I tell you that background to say 2 things changed for me that I can't hold in, and it just makes me want to inspire as many people as I can. 1, being faced with the reality that just because you're young and you're pretty normal doesn't mean you're healthy. And 2, we're trapped in this rat race that I found that I started dreaming. I started going to these events and these conferences and reading these books and listening to these audios and hearing just like how to dream and how to think bigger than what I was taught in college or taught growing up, bigger than just going to work every day and working for somebody. And so I started dreaming of, I want to make X amount of money, and I want to do this, and I want to travel there, and I want to da 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 da. And so the more I started dreaming, the more I couldn't like hold it in that I wanted to share this with everybody. And what happened was I was flooding my timelines, social media, with Juice Plus, and it's changed my life, and I love it. And I forgot it was even a product. Like, I forgot that it was couple of capsules and a shake that I take every day to make sure that I've got this reassurance in my body that I'm getting the food that I should be eating, but I don't. And I thought of it as like this $50 opportunity to change your life, to totally just wake yourself up to the opportunity and the potential of yourself. And I'd be excited. I'd be reading these books, and I just every day and every year and every month and every moment being changed. And so for the past 3 years, I've been on this journey, and I'm totally off of my notes. So I'm going to get back to them, to those 5 things that I promised that have helped me. But I had to tell you that background story because those 5 things have contributed to why I am the person I am today, and why I've even been exposed to reading books and listening to audios from Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn and Jeff Olstein, and just all these people who have totally sorry, I said Jeff. I knew I messed it up. I was thinking Jeff Roberti and Joel Olstein. But anyways, all of these people who have inspired me, and I just want to share that with you. And I want to share the 5 things that I have come across in my path in the last 3 years through my Juice Plus journey that have inspired me to just be a better person, and that have helped me be a better person. And so, okay, getting back to my notes, so forgive me. But the 5 things are basically acknowledging my faith. If you're not a God, Christian, Jesus Christ believer, like I'm going to be referring to, then, you have permission to apply this to whatever higher faith that you have. But one of the things that I have learned from a lot of the leaders that I've learned from is that we all have like a higher calling that we answer to, in a sense. So prayerfully, it is Jesus Christ, but faith, whatever your faith is, your family, your finances, your health and wellness and your fitness, and then yourself. So those are like the 5 categories that things have been triggered in my life that have really inspired me to do better. And so no matter who you are on this thing today, you could be a stay-at-home mom, you could be a working mom, you could be a single mom, you could be a dad, you could be an entrepreneur, whoever and whatever you are, whatever you want to be. I find that in my self-development journey, these 5 areas are the key to balance. And I just was at church on Sunday, and the pastor was preaching on prioritizing, and he was saying how it was really cool. I wish I could do it today, but he did this visual where he had two bowls, and he had sand and rocks and water and beans and all these things. And so first he poured the sand, and then he poured the rocks, and by the time he got to the rocks, everything was spilling over because it wouldn't fit. But then he poured it again, and he prioritized it, and he poured the rocks first, and then he did the sand, and the sand kind of filtered through the rocks, and then he put the beans, and he put the water and all that, and everything fit. And what he was basically trying to point out, that when we prioritize our life, when we balance our life, it allows us to be able to reach a potential. And you've probably heard this before, and it was new to me a few years ago, but just that Oprah, and Oprah's always the one that they use, but whoever the most successful person that you admire is in your world, think of that person. They have the same 24 hours as you. And that's kind of that concept of the balance. It's like we all have the same opportunity. We all have the same opportunity of hours in the day, but it's how are we prioritizing what we do with those hours so that we can get the most out of it. And so these are the areas that I've been really challenged to explore. And you know, I heard Zig Ziglar once say it's not about lack of time, because I think the biggest thing people think when, you know, you may have a full-time job, but you have this dream to open up your own business or something, but I don't have time. Time is a big thing that we all say we don't have, because we are trapped in the day-to-day grind of, you know, the 9 to 5. If you have kids, getting them to school, getting them back, getting them to practices, and by the time you do those basic few things, your day is done, you're tired, and there's nothing left to give to something else. So finding that balance. So in the first kind of section with the faith, the few things that I've kind of just been inspired by to do was just believing in God to be your end all be all. And I think like I could literally do a whole webinar on this, and this is my driving force, but if you, I just want to challenge you, and you know, at this point I may lose people if they're not God-fearing believers, but if you are, I want to just challenge you, because I was challenged to wake up and ask yourself your goals and what do you want, but then apply that to God and ask God, what does he want for you? Because at the end of the day, when you look at our lives that we're living, we're all living what we want to do, where we want to be, how we want to do it. And that's probably 99% of why a lot of us are not effective in life, because we're not doing it according to the will that God has set out for us. So when I was challenged to really look at my life and prioritize my faith being the number one thing that I go after when it comes to the outcome of whatever I touch and whatever I do and wherever I spend my time, I was really challenged to explore where my time was going. And I just heard this, and I can't even quote it, but it was something along the lines of, in a lifespan of someone's life for 70 years, they studied kind of the hours of where people's time went. And so the I don't remember the exact numbers, but I want to say it was like 22 years of that 70-year lifespan went to sleeping, and then it was like 18 or so went to working, and then they broke it down, eating and recreation, vacation, and the bottom one was 6 months out of that 70-year lifespan went to God. I don't remember the other numbers, but I remember it was 22 years to 6 months that we spend with God. And so that challenged me, because I said, oh my gosh, like at the end of the day, everything that we do here on earth is not going to matter when we die. Like, you're going to either go to heaven or go to hell or whatever you believe, but everything that we do will not matter. So it doesn't matter how successful I am, how many followers I have, how many shoes I have, how many vacations I've been on, how well my kids do in school or in sports, or how long lasting and happy my marriage is. All the things that I strive to do good at, none of that will matter if I don't start it with what God has intended for me. So that was, like I said, that could be its own webinar, and I want to move on. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer, so I'm going to move on. But that was the starting place for me. That was the priority, was waking up every day and making sure that before, you know, I live on my phone. I for my business, I'm on my phone all the time. So to wake up, I had to challenge myself. And I was going to say this later on down the line, and I may say it again, but Zig Ziglar says when you set a goal, in order for it to be effective, there has to be change. So if my goal is to prioritize my life and God to be the top of that, I have to make a change. And so changes that I made were, when I wake up every day, as soon as my feet hit that ground, I'm praying. I don't, like, there's days where I wake up late, so I got to pray on my way to, getting dressed and getting breakfast going or whatever. But I try to wake up with enough time that I'm spending prayer with God. Right now, I'm not perfect, so I'm challenging. I got to get up earlier so I can fit in my Bible time, because by the end of my day, it's not happening. I used to roll over, pick up my phone, and immediately check what happened on Instagram and Facebook and email and all that. Like, it was the first thing that I did. Now I don't allow myself to touch my phone in the morning until I talk to God. And even, like I said, if I'm running late, it may be a 2-minute talk, but I'm acknowledging him first, because I had to make that change. So I just challenge you to look at your faith and really ask yourself, how much are you prioritizing God? Because we say it, we say we believe, we say we love him, but how much is he really controlling your life? And I find so much joy and excitement knowing that I'm giving it all to him, and he's going to exceed my expectations and my plans for my own life. So I'm just excited to see him move in this year and in the years to come. So the other one was family and relationships. This is one of the areas that I'm so passionate about, and why I do what I do, and why I share what I share with people, and why I want more entrepreneurs to come out and own their life and stop working in the rat race, the 9 to 5, because we don't have quality families. We don't have quality time. We're spending all of our time working. And we have, like, the more you do have a family, the less time you have with your friends and all of that, because work and family take up most of your time. So just, again, being able to have that functional time for your family, it makes me passionate to share entrepreneurship, because you're able to have that freedom of time and finances to do the things that you want to do with your family, and just prioritizing them. Finances was a big one, so that was the area that in the words of Zig Ziglar, if you've never heard of him, Google him, watch some of his YouTube videos. But he says money isn't the most important thing in life, but it's reasonably close to oxygen on the gotta have it scale. And I love, love, love that quote, because when I'm trying to share my business opportunity with people and tell people, like, I have a way you could work your 9 to 5 job, do something part-time to accumulate funds, to have extra money for vacation, or to have extra money to spend on this and that, or to have extra money to retire from that job and start your own business that you always wanted to do, or just whatever it is that extra money would mean to you or to whoever it is I'm talking to. A lot of times people will say, like, oh, I'm not motivated by money. And it's so funny, because it's like, money is everything. Like, it makes the world go round. It shouldn't be our God. It shouldn't be our priority, but it's everything. It's the reason why people go to their 9 to 5s every single day. Like, you're not going to not wake up and go to work and clock in today. You may not go to church on Sunday. You may not roll over and say a prayer. You may not spend enough time with your family, but you're not going to not go to work for a long period of time because you don't feel like it. It's a priority. Money is a big priority. And I believe that, and it's cool, because when I was listening to the Zig Ziglar audio one time, he said something like, people in the Christian community will come up to him and say, well, how do you justify your talk about money and helping people get money? When you're a Christian, you should be thinking about God and da da da. And he said, how can I believe in an amazing God like I do and believe that he saved his riches and diamonds for this Satan's followers? He saved them for us. And I when I heard that, and the more that I've grown over these past years, the more I'm claiming that I don't believe God intended for us to come into this world and struggle to the 9 to 5, work our butts off, to only at the end of the month have or at the end of the money have too much month, as they say, and be still broke and tired, but yet you worked your butt off, and there's nothing to show for it except for stress, which is killing us on our health level. It's taking away from our quality time with our family, and ultimately, going back to my number one thing, the faith, it's taking away from us being able to do our ministry, whatever it is that God called us to be here. I don't believe God called us to be here to be a stay-at-home mom, or a flight attendant, or a marketing manager, or whatever it is that your career is. That wasn't what God called us to do. Yes, he's going to bless us with those jobs and those opportunities, but God called us to win souls to his kingdom and to bring more people to know him. So if you look at your life and you're only spending 6 months of your whole 70-year lifespan bringing lives to the kingdom, we didn't do what God wanted us to do. And so it baffles me, and that is the core why I'm like loud and proud, and I won't ever give up of sharing a $50 opportunity with people to get out of that rat race so that they can pursue whatever dream they have, whatever goal. Some people want to go into, fashion and cooking, and just, we have these passions, we have these desires, but we can't do them because we need a paycheck. And so I'm so passionate about helping people understand the power of entrepreneurship, because I believe, and it's so crazy because I've been believing this since I've been in this industry, but then my pastor the last 6 months has been praying for entrepreneurs. Like just the other night at Bible study or at church, he said, one of his prayers was, God bless the entrepreneurs, bless the ideas in these people's heads. And I believe that. I'm claiming that for you, for everybody on this webinar, for everybody that I know, that God puts desires in our hearts. He puts ideas in our hearts so that we can pursue them. Because if we can control our time and where we're spending our time, then we can do more for his kingdom. We can do our ministries, and he's gonna, like in my business, I pray every day, put the people in my path that I can help them with their health, and I can inspire them to be healthier and to take care of their bodies and live longer and more quality lives. But let that be my ministry. Let them ultimately be impacted not by just how healthy they are on this earth, but how healthy they are mentally, of wanting to be eternally with you. So anyways, moving to the next one, just your health and your fitness, and that's a big one. Everyone who knows me, if you follow me or whatever, you like, it's kind of funny, it's misunderstood that I'm this health freak and I'm this people ask me, gluten-free this, and how do you do that? And I'm like, honestly, like, I ate In-N-Out for dinner last night. I have 2 scoops of mint chocolate chip ice cream in the freezer that I'm going to throw away, because I made a pact today with some of my family that we're going to do a 30-day no sugar challenge. But I am terrible. I'm addicted to sugar. I am a carb fanatic. I can't imagine my life without breads and pastas, which I know they're not that good for me. And frankly, I am not the healthiest person, but that's why I believe in Juice Plus, because I know I don't get enough fruits and vegetables every day. So that's my way of bridging the gap. It's not for everyone. Not everyone chooses to do that, but whatever you do choose to do, aside from my passion for just fulfilling your ministry with what God has for your life, health is right next in line to that, because I just feel like too many people are affected by cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, cholesterol issues, thyroid issues, skin. I was dependent on Proactive. I was dependent on medication for allergies. I mean, there's so many malfunctions of the body. And when you know what I know, that 75% of that can be prevented through just your diet, how could you not want to share that with the people that you love and care about, and want to help them come to grips with, you can do better. You cannot be that statistic. I don't know, like, statistics are, I think it's by 2050, which it will be here before we know it, 1 in 3 people will be diabetic. Like, I think that's the statistic, but basically half of, like, 1 in 3, there's a lot of people on this line right now. So that means a lot of us. we don't have to be that statistic. So the health and fitness aspect is obviously one of the areas that I've been challenged in, and it's one of the areas that I love sharing with people and inspiring people, because if you don't have your health, you have nothing. So going back to the finance, which I think is the biggest one. I mean, I would love to say that faith is, but I think finances is the biggest one. Our jobs are the biggest thing. We wake up, we grind it out for that paycheck that's going to pay our bills and then allow us to enjoy the rest of our life. If you become the most successful entrepreneur and your business is the best out there, but you don't have your health, how can you enjoy that? And recently I was inspired by this article by now I can't even, Steve Jobs, and it was before he passed away from, I think he had cancer, I'm not sure, but he passed away from some illness, and he was saying that at the end of my life, when I look back at my life, I was one of the most successful people and known people in the world, but I didn't have my health. And you can't buy your health, he said. And so he really just challenged people to learn from him and just realize that you have to take control of your health. And you know, my pastor is he's cancer free now, but he had stage 4 cancer at one point, and he tells us all the time, what we do in our 20s and our 30s is going to catch up to us in our 40s and our 50s. And that's why I'm so passionate about, I mean, I have dreams. I want to do all kinds of things that have nothing to do with health. I want to start all kinds of businesses that have nothing to do with health. But I know that health is the foundation of that. And so that's why no matter what I do, Juice Plus is always a part of it, and as a catalyst of a healthy lifestyle. But what was I saying? In the 20s, that's why I'm so passionate about my age group and the generation that comes after me taking control and reversing things, because we are gonna see it right now. We're not feeling what we're doing. I'm not feeling the result of the In-N-Out that I ate last night, but it's gonna catch up to me. So anyways, I'm going to move on to the last one and close this out. But health is a huge one, obviously. And I don't even know how this webinar thing works. I'm just going to be completely honest. But somehow I set up like an offer where I put like a website and a picture. So I don't know if you're seeing that right now or if it's going to show up later or where it's at. It's funny because I'm like, just, I don't even know. But if you don't see it, then it's not there. But if it is there, I just want to touch on this since we're talking about the health, that I put an invitation to join the HLR. And what HLR is it's Healthy Living Rules. And it's 4 simple things. Taking your Juice Plus, if you choose to do that. It's not for everybody, but a lot of people, and I did see a lot of Juice Plusers here. So it's taking your Juice Plus, drinking more water, getting sleep, and doing some type of physical exercise. So in the fitness and health area, I just want to say, Ebony's probably laughing at me because I have no idea where that page is at. But anyways, the health, and on the health aspect, I just want to challenge you that if you want to learn more about Juice Plus, of course I'm going to be excited. And for all my fellow Juice Plusers, like, we're going to be happy if someone new wants to learn about it. But if you walk away and don't, that's okay. Take something on the health aspect. Make a simple change in your life, whether it's challenging yourself to drink more water, exercise, get more sleep. Try to at least do those 3 and then pick something else. So for the next 30 days, I'm doing no sugar and I'm giving up pizza and In-N-Out, because I probably have eaten pizza and In-N-Out about 85-90% of my pregnancy. Literally, I could eat pizza probably 3 or 4 times a week. I have In-N-Out at least once a week. And In-N-Out is burgers, if there's anybody that don't live in this area. But anyways, just challenge yourself to do something. Like I said earlier, when you have a goal to be healthier, something has to change. So something's got to give. You got to give something up. You got to add something. So just, if that page is there, you can click on that. You can go learn about what the HLR is. And if you have questions, you know how to reach me. You can ask me. And then, so that's that. So the last one that I just want to close out on, and I think my priority is faith. My, like, a big passionate one is that finance one, because I want to just free people up from being broke and tired and all that. But one of my favorite ones and the most challenging one is mindset. And so I saved it for last because I think that it's going to be your mindset as you leave this webinar in a few minutes. That's going to be if you change anything. And yes, I'll recap the 5 things. But your mindset is everything, and all of what has gotten me so excited about what I've been introduced to through these last couple years has everything to do with self-development. If you're not doing something today to fuel your brain and your who you are as a personal person, not to do your job, not to, help your kids, not to be a better, whatever, to be a better you, to get in your own head and to switch off all those negative thoughts that we all have. We all have a negative person inside of us. If you're not feeding that, you're not growing, you're not living to your full potential. And I think a lot of that feeding is going to come through your word and your time spent with God, but a lot of it is going to come from self-development. And so there's tons of books out there. There's tons of YouTube audios. Zig Ziglar, those are my favorite. I honestly, like, there's so much out there that I don't even know. So please share with me. Like I said earlier, I didn't even want to do this webinar at first because I'm like, who am I to be talking to people? I'm the one who likes to listen to people, to learn. So for me to be saying all this stuff, I'm just saying it to preach it back to myself and hope that you take something from it. So if you have something, if you have books and audios that you love, please, please, please share them with me, because I'm always looking for something else. But those are some of my favorite ones. And so I was listening to this Joel Osteen audio, and he was saying that everything you say you are follows you. So if you say you're gonna fail, you're gonna fail. Or if you say you're scared, you're gonna be scared, you're gonna fail. If you say you're ugly, you're gonna be ugly. But if you say positive things about yourself, you're gonna become those. Those things are gonna follow you. And it was funny because he said, I'm not saying to lie to yourself and to psych yourself out, but what he is saying is set your mind up for a positive track. If you think more positively, positive things are gonna happen. And so I just love that. And Zig Ziglar, I'm kind of referring to a couple of the like main audios that have changed my life. But in the Zig Ziglar one, he talks about how we have to have goals. He says, you can't hit a target if you can't see it. You may try, but you're going to probably miss. And so he says we have to have goals in life. So I challenge you to change your mindset today. Make a decision that you're going to set a goal and you're going to commit to that goal, and you're going to have a positive mindset that you can achieve that goal. But what he says about goals is, he says most people don't set them because once you set a goal, you instantly have that pressure and risk of failing and not reaching that goal. And so most people don't even bother. And so that's basically what he says is, like, if you can't even get over the fear of just trying to set the goal, you're going to be farther off. Sorry, there's like something floating in my face. But if you don't set a goal, you're going to be farther off than you were if you did set it and missed. So just set goals, whether it's to be a better, whatever, to do this or to do that, to start a business, to whatever it is that you want to do out of your life. And sometimes you don't know. If you don't know, I challenge you to just come to something that I have, a Juice Plus something, because it's so much more than just what you think it is. And it might give you hope to have that as something that you can set as a goal. I've got goals I can help you attain, but most of you probably have your own goals. You have your own aspirations. So set those and follow them and commit to them. And so I just want to kind of end with, the biggest investment that you can make is in yourself. We spend so much. One of the things that I learned that boggled me was they were saying how we will literally go to school, like for most of us, a bachelor degree, a minimum of 4 years. But some, to be a doctor, they'll go to years and years and years of school with paying for that, accumulating debt for that, but with the faith that they're going to get enough knowledge and a degree behind their name to have a good job. Well, the problem with most college students is they graduate with all this debt and don't even apply what they learn. But what boggles me and why I bring that up is because I too, I love college. I want all my kids to go to college. I love it. I think it's the best thing, but I don't think it's the end all be all. You still have to make decisions to continue to learn. And I've learned more in the last 3 years of just reading self-development books and going to conferences and surrounding myself with dreamers and doers than I learned in college. In college, it was just textbook. Study, get an A on the test, pass the class, study, get an A on the test, pass the class, graduate. That was what college was for me. I can't even tell you half the crap I learned there. But now I'm learning material that's changing my life. So it just boggles me how much we're willing because of our psyche. We're trained to go to college, get that education. And again, I'm not bashing it. Please still go to college. I love it. But know that, have that same discipline to yourself. You're your best investment. College is not your best investment. You are. So do further. Like, don't stop investing in yourself when you graduate college or high school or whatever. Keep investing. Always invest in yourself by being around other people and learning and growing from just whatever. And I love the saying that you are the company you keep. And who are the top 5 people that you're keeping in your company? If they're not challenging you and you're not learning from them and growing from them, I'm not saying kick them to the curb. I'm not saying don't hang out with them or don't talk to them, but I'm saying you better add another 5 people to that circle who you can reach up to and you can pull up to, because you're not going to go anywhere if you're the one that's always looking down. And not that you have to be looking down at people. Maybe you're looking straight at them. You're on the same level. But what I'm trying to say is surround yourself with people that are going to challenge you to be better. And you know, I was joking the other day with my post on Instagram. I put that I was riding in the carpool lane because I had Joel Osteen on the radio, and well, it was an interview, so it had a few leaders who were being interviewed, and so I just laughed like, you know what, I gotta get there, I'm running late, so I'm gonna just tell this cop these are the 3 people that are in my car today. But I learned that from another leader who said, again, there's that goal you got to change. Try this simple change. This is something that helped me. And for the next 30 days, if you don't want to do it forever, when you're in your car, go to YouTube, and or if you're like me and you're on Verizon, then freaking data will kill you. But order some audios or do something that's not going to kill your data or whatever. But it's worth it if you kill your data. I just go on YouTube. Okay, now I'm rambling, but go and challenge yourself to, instead of listening to the radio or just, you know, being quiet, listen to some type of self-development, inspirational, motivational, whether it's church or whatever. Do that and spend your time in the car with these leaders in your audio. That was one simple change that I made that has changed my life. I don't always get to do it because I usually have kids and they want to hear their Disney or whatever. That's one way that you could do it. Or for me, another one that I did was TiVo. Like, I was like, as soon as my kids went to bed at 8 o'clock, I was turning on my shows and watching all of them. For a 90-day period was what I did. It was my challenge. I didn't watch TV, and I filled that 2-hour gap that I had after my kids went to bed, that Jason was still not needing my attention. Watching things, reading things, doing things that were going to better me. So I'm going to just end here with one of the questions that really changed my mindset was when I was asked, are you living the life today that you want to be living 5 years from now? And when that question was asked to me, I'm like, heck no. Like, I see myself living in a different house, having a different lifestyle, doing different things, doing more vacations, having just more out of life. So I said no. And then they said, well, is what you're doing on a consistent day-to-day basis contributing to where you see yourself in 5 years? And I'm like, no, because I'm just sitting at home. 5 years, my kids will just be 5 years older and I'm just a mom. So I had to choose to do something that was going to put me in the direction that I want to be 5 years from now. So I'm asking you the same question. If you're not where you want to be today, in 5 years from now, you want something better, what can you change in your day-to-day consistent activity that can help you attain the things that you want. So that just really changed my life. And so just as a closing out, because I know I was supposed to recap the 5. So the 5 things were your faith. Let me just look at them so I don't miss anything. But it was your faith, your finances, your health, and your fitness, and your family, your relationships, and then it was yourself, your mindset, your self-development. And so those were the 5 areas that I just feel like prioritize, focus on, spend your energy developing those areas. Be bold, be confident, be intentional, be consistent. Consistent is probably one of my favorite words, because everything we do, we're going to have challenges, and it's easy to stop. So whatever it is that you do, just be consistent. And so in closing, I just want to thank you guys for letting me ramble on today. I feel energized. I feel reminded of the things that keep me going every day. I want to just invite you that if anything, as far as the Juice Plus side of my life, sparked any interest and you don't already know about it, please reach out to me. I would love to share it with you. If not, that's perfectly okay. If on the finance side, being an entrepreneur interests you and you have ideas, I am by far not a mentor in that area, but I have done it. I have started a few businesses, so I would love to just chat with you and help inspire you and point you in directions. And of course, I also have the opportunity of a way that you can create an additional income to help you have the funds to start whatever business idea that you have. So if that interests you, please reach out to me. And lastly, just if nothing interested you about that, just take away something from today. Make a simple change today. Do something positive. Think positive about yourself, and just, I don't know, like, just be better, be a better you. And the only thing that's stopping you from being better this year than last year is yourself. So just invest in creating a better you, and just do something. So I'm here to support you guys. I love everybody. I love people. I love helping people. I love the life that I live today because I get to help people. And growing up, going to school, I never knew what I wanted to do career-wise, but I knew I want to help people. And so I hope it helped you today. I was fulfilled by being able to share my heart with you. So I thank you. I love you, and have a blessed day.